Hello, everybody. It is 11:03 a.m. on Sunday, April 3rd, the morning of Wrestlemania 38, Night 2. Um, I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. Night 1 was a solid night. With the return of Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair finally defeating Becky Lynch after a humiliating defeat at SummerSlam last year, and I covered it. So, I covered it live because I was reacting to it. I thought that was a good match. I thought Rollins versus Rhodes was really, really good. It was a solid night. They had plenty of decent matches. They had Stone Cold on the show, which everybody was hyped up about. Um, Logan Paul and The Miz versus the Mysterios was it the only? I don't even remember if it was the only tag team match on the show, but I will go run down the card for you really quick. The Usos. That's kind of sad. I forgot the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus Shinsuke and Rick Boogs was the other one. To be fair, there was nothing super great about this first tag team match though. Like I just literally said status quo remains the same. Um yeah, you had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, which again I thought was really good. Flair versus Rousey I didn't care for because I knew the outcome. Everybody could see the outcome from a mile away. And then you had Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens, which was a surprise match, but it was a really fun watch overall. But tonight, let's run down the card here really quick. New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch at ringside. This was originally going to be on last night's show, but was cut at some point. And I was like, are you serious? Because I think we got done with WrestleMania about 12 hours ago. I think just shortly after 11 last night, the show went off the air. And that was kind of okay, they pulled the WrestleMania. Well, they didn't cut any matches, from the show entirely, but well, you could say they could, or they did, because of the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland match. But they went, the usual WrestleMania 5 hours. But why the hell are they starting so late? Usually the shows start at 6. They had a 2-hour fucking pre-show. And I wish I was kidding. The pre-show started at 5 where I live. The pre-show started at 5. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6 hours of wrestling content. And I was like, just end the fucking show already. I hope tonight they don't have as many fucking pointless segments. Well, there was only one pointless segment, I should say. They shouldn't have so much filler time where they're trying to hype the next pay-per-view, but we all know that's exactly what's going to happen because they want us to try and sell tickets. Even though we already know what the next card or the next pay-per-view, some of it's going to be, right? So for people that are like, well, we don't know that for sure. We know that it's going to be Charlotte versus someone. We know that it's going to be, at this moment, we're probably going to see Charlotte versus Ronda at SummerSlam. So they're going to continue to build her up and have her be this undefeated goddamn monster. because literally that's what she's been for the last year. She's been undefeated on pay-per-view, and I'm tired of seeing her, honestly, on pay-per-view as champion. I was saying at least get the damn belt off her. It's time for somebody else to win the belt. In my opinion, I don't know. I just think that we see Charlotte Flair on, like, as champion way too much. You know, they made it a point in the video package for the Flair Rousey match that she was a 13-time women's champion. And do you want to know how long she's been on the main roster? 6 years. Actually, about 7 years. That's 2 reigns per year. Doesn't help, you know, they'd hot potato the title at points between her and Sasha Banks. But literally, the Charlotte Flair matches are becoming so predictable. They're not fun to watch because you know what's going to happen. People say, well, 90% of wrestling is that way. Yeah, but when you book somebody so strong that they never lose... Hell, I'll say this. When Charlotte loses on pay-per-view, it's probably going to, you know, be a shock. I was going to say, you know, elicit the same reaction as Undertaker's streak breaking in 2014, but then I'm like, nah, because everybody wants Charlotte to lose now. Like, it's so fucking predictable. But anyway, I don't even remember if I went over the match card. Just in case I didn't, here's the match card for tonight. The New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Oh yeah, I started that and then got talking about night 1 because this match was originally on night 1. Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus I can't even speak. Natalya and Shayna Baszler for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Okay. This could actually set up Zelina versus Carmella, because that's what they've been teasing. Like, the seeds have been planted for Carmella or Zelina to turn on Carmella. One of the two will be, you know, one of the two will be betrayed tonight. We've got Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Pat McAfee. I should speak on this stipulation. Anything goes match. Wouldn't you want to call it a no DQ match? Or a no holds barred match? This is going to be a stunt fest, I think, because I mean, look at who's involved. Nothing against Johnny Knoxville. It's just, I think Johnny Knoxville is a glorified stuntman. But he's also a great actor. Go watch Dukes of Hazzard. The movie, not the TV show. And then we have Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I've never seen Pat McAfee in the ring. We have RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. And I fucking knew it, too, by the way. I fucking called it. I called it at one point. I figured, I'm like, oh, you know, the way the way, you know, some of these matches are ending, the way they're booking this, they're gonna book themselves into a triple threat, and Mania, which, okay, chaos. Edge versus AJ, Lashley versus Omos, and Lesnar versus Reigns in a unification match that can end, last I heard, it can end by DQ or countout. I could be wrong. They could add a last minute stipulation to say there must be a winner. But the way they're saying that it's a unification match. So my question is, what the hell happens to the belts after this match? Is Roman or Brock gonna hold them both and then have to fight 2 matches in one night like Seth Rollins did with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the United States Championship back in 2015? Or is it going to be a whole scenario where it's absorbed like the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship in 2014? It's one of those things I don't fucking know. Because, let's see here. There's no indication, like, what they're going to do, as far as I know. But I also just kind of talk about these things as weeks progress, and people will be like, you haven't done an episode before yesterday in fucking 3 weeks. That's because I'm trying to get through the Royal Rumble in 93. I almost said 94 again. But yeah, no, I've been busy. So, yeah. Honestly though, like, why have a unification match if it can end in a DQ or a count out or a double DQ or anything like that? Because then what happens? You baited and switched the fans. Because they're pushing it as a unification match. Right? So let's say Roman gets to the point he is super frustrated. He can't take it anymore and he loses his goddamn cool. Grabs a chair and starts wailing Lesnar with it. Is the match going to end in DQ and Lesnar wins Reigns' title? What the hell? I mean, if that does happen, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have an opinion of it. We'll hear more about that tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on how late the show actually fucking ends. At this time, 12 hours ago, the show had literally just ended. It ended at, like, I think 5 or 10 past the hour. So, remember, I'm talking I was talking in a really quiet voice. Like, I was going to record my Wrestlemania Night 1 reactions in the morning, but then I'm like, no, I'm just going to get it done because I basically now have to prep for night 2, get food and drink ready to go. So I think tonight I'm going to have a pizza and I'm going to have a wild cherry Coke, which I know I have some. But like something like that is something that really just makes me think, like, if it gets fucked up and the match ends by DQ, what the hell's gonna happen? Even though I don't think it will. I do think Reigns is gonna win though. And people will say, well, how could you say that? Much like Charlotte Flair, they literally book him to win everything. Bobby Lashley versus Omos or Omos. I don't know. Like, I wish I could tell you. Like, I think it's going to be a squash match. And if they're going to try and put Omos over, I've heard it pronounced Omos. Why have him go up against Bobby? because Bobby is a big guy that can fight. Omos, his big thing is that he's his he's a big dude. He can throw people around. But that was also Lashley's gimmick for a while. Edge versus AJ, I love the build to this match. I hope it delivers because AJ is phenomenal in the ring and Edge is just, well, a great worker. I'm probably underselling his ability, but my god, I'm excited. RK Bro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. Haven't seen the three teams in action for a while. Pat McAfee, charismatic, has helped to build to the match at Mania. I am so excited to see what he can deliver. Knoxville versus Sami Zayn is going to be insane, quite literally. And the other two tag matches that I'm just not going to repeat because some of it is a mouthful. Selena and Carmella, Banks and Naomi, Ripley and Morgan, Natalya and Baszler. Everybody in that ring, I wish I could say more, but there's a lot of great workers in that match. The New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland is going to be entertaining, in my opinion. Just to see two members of the New Day back in action. Unfortunately, Big E is still out with a neck injury. I hope he feels better. I hope he gets better soon. And that's something they do highlight in the video package that was shown at various points throughout the show yesterday. But no. Wait. Okay. I am trying to look at the notes here. Yeah, no, so I'm just looking at the Wikipedia article. So let's talk about the length of these matches. So I need a calculator here. 6.55 plus 8. I'm gonna do some plus 11. I'm taking the match times and just adding them together to see how much of the wrestling time was taken up. Because there was 4 hours of pay-per-view time, because it went from 7 to 11, and it was holy crap. Okay, there was not a decimal point there. 1910 plus 2140. The longest match on the card yesterday was 1830 and 13.5. 98.4 minutes, so a little over an hour and a half was wrestling. That's not, I'm guessing that's not including entrances. If it was, it would be half the show was, entrances. Because, like I said, 90 minutes is an hour and a half. This is an hour and 38 minutes if it was wrestling. Belair, so in terms of match length, it goes Rhodes versus Rollins, I was wrong. Belair versus Lynch, Flair versus Rousey, Austin versus Owens, The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, and the Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs. That is the times. That is how these matches rank in time. You know, the opener was short, and it sounded like the crowd was dead. Also, I have to say, like, the attendance record, or the attendance number, was like 78,000. It's actually probably going to be closer to the mid to upper 60s. And, like, I don't know exact numbers for sure, but, like, they've always been known to fudge the attendance number, so to speak. For night 2, you know, what matches am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, I wish I had the match card in front of me so I could see. And I do, I just clicked on my LibreOffice document by accident. So, honestly, I'm looking forward to probably McAfee versus Theory, because I want to see what Pat McAfee can do. And I would say AJ versus Edge. And just to see if they do some sort of shenaniganery. Lesnar versus Reigns. So anyway, I think that'll be it for us today, or this morning. We will see you guys later for the post-WrestleMania reaction.